LinuxGameCast Weekly, the show that covers the latest Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, and most importantly, whatever the hell else we come up with. This week, here kitty kitty. That's right, Talos released for Linux on day one. Vendetta Online goes full metal. OpenGL 4.Z, yes, it's still around. And imagine me, naked. It's released for everyone who wanted to play which is hipster, minus the hipster pixel graphics and the fun gravity mechanic.
Feral declares total war on Linux. Well, Linux multiplayer at least. Red Hat 7 just came out in June, and AMD just got the memo. And Godot has opened a game jam, and we're still waiting on a game that actually uses the damn thing.
4A Games brings Metro Redux to Linux. Stick around, because we're going to throw chairs at it. You can no longer fly around on the Pidgins in Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and even though I had no intention of ever using that particular exploit, I still hate that it's gone. And finally, new NVIDIA beta driver. It's a hotfix, really, but it's this attention to detail that keeps them ahead.
Hotfix unlike your mom.
Hey, my mom's a pretty hot
That
fix.
lovely voice, all the way from space Portugal.
She gets a lot of hot fixes.
Was Pedro Mateus, and we're
that
joined
answers a
by
lot more
Jordan
questions than
Svang,
the
who
rest.
talks and talks and talks up in Canadia, and with Chatrealm Dynamic. We form a bit of a cocaine Voltron live every Saturday night organ. What's been going on in your life, babies? I heard you got the shield. Huh?
Yes, I did. NVIDIA Shield! It's kind of
And he
amazing.
drops it.
It's got a 1920 by 1200 screen on like 8 inches. So now I am at that point, much like Ven, that if I look at a 1080p screen any bigger than this, I can see the frickin' pixels. It's not pretty. God damn it. But it's pretty good.
Yeah?
It is pretty good.
What you got for me, baby?
It's the one time of year I get sick, so after this show I gotta enter the Odin sleep, and you get to see me fighting off, my brain trying to leak out of my face. Also, I finally fixed up my multi-monitor setup. I got another Asus V24 something monitor and a VESA arm, so that's why you can see my face really up close.
Flying Spaghetti Monster knows we need to fix that in the upcoming episodes. Over here in Vinland, I picked up one of these little guys. Yeah, look at it. It's cute.
Just the one? God damn it. What the hell?
It's a GTX 980, twin frozen.
With the 4 gigs?
With the 4 gigajoules. Like it. It's been awesome sauce. Has the G-Sync shit built in that next year's 4K monitor will have. Really,
So you basically bought this to fuck over Pedro, right?
the only reason the 90% of this is because Pedro having a marginally faster video card than me caused me sleep.
Yeah,
So-
the 970 is still that bit faster.
I had to
than
buy the one that was just a bit more faster than his. That's that.
I get hand-me-downs though. Woohoo! Not having to pay for upgrading my video card.
J-Man, I got the 770. You also got the T. Brown Memorial microphone, didn't you?
Yes, I did. He's right here. Jordan finally sent it over. It's
I sent it
I
over
was
2 weeks ago,
expecting-
buddy.
yeah, I was expecting just, go to the post office, pick it up. Yes. So I got there. I got the notification because I wasn't home. I got the notification that I had to go and pick it up. Got there. Oh, you have to pay 61 euros and 78 cents in value-added tax. What? Excuse me? So, yeah, apparently, since Jordan sent it in the same box that he got his XLR version, they assumed that that I had bought the mic and had it shipped over. So, yeah, you're going to pay VAT. Son of a bitch.
Which is great because on the little postal form when I mailed this thing off to Pedro, I clearly checked the gift box. So,
Yeah, I don't think they care about that here.
Well,
so
let me tell you
the
somebody
Portuguese Postal Service
who
can't
always
read.
checks off all the boxes. That's Schnappy. That's right. Unlimited web
Yeah, that's
hosting.
right.
Made
It's-
easy and affordable. What is it, J-Man?
Yeah, no, if you need a place to host your Scientologist Jesus / dinosaur riding Hitler fan fiction, this is the place you go.
I'm telling you, he's got it, and you can do it there, starting at $3.96 a month. What does that get you? Unlimited disk space, unlimited bandwidth. That easy. One-click control panel business, and all this web hosting, reseller hosting, dedicating hosting, but I'm telling you, you can get that for 20% off, and that's just for your hosting, because you already have that bitching domain name like, I don't know.
What is it, SpankyCity.com?
SpankyCity.com. You know, for all that new UK business. But I'm telling you, 20% off is the best deal that you can possibly get.
Bullshit, sir, because if you enter the offer code of Seizure-tasticness, LinuxGameCast FTW, and that is for the wieners, you get 25% off. That's insane. That is mental. It is so crazy that it's forced Schnappy to stop shitting leaves.
Sad day. Better luck next time in the winter, Schnappy. You're never forgotten. We got a bit of a PSA, kind of, sort of.
We got a bit of a double PSA. So we're looking at starting up a Patreon campaign, and we're looking for some ideas for goals and backer bonuses and whatnot. So we got a bit of a discussion going on in that thread. You can check it out in the chat realm, statically linked. We're having the discussion there. But, you know, speaking of chat realm.
Oh, right.
Ah, yes.
Let's see.
That's the second bit of the PSA.
Let's go into this business. We have a thing.
That's the Patreon
is
thread.
the same fuck
No,
mothering
that's the Patreon.
Success! We are
doing
So, Inti is working on a little bit to get us all vanilla because it's a lock-in for him, a fuck you lock-in, and he's come up with something that kind of works. This is not by the finished thing. It will be more pink and infinitely more ponies. And go ahead and head over there to that thread. See if you can log in, see if you find issues. We already found one, which is, quotes don't work. Well, it doesn't import those over, so that might be a bit of an issue, but hopefully we'll get that business sorted out. But that's enough of the business. So let's get into the business, J-Man.
The Steam business. Because the horse, is looking a bit Russian, and it's looking a little more irradiated than normal. I wonder why.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's our Steam
Redux
update. There's a penguin here, comrade. Yes, Artyom, don't you agree? It's Metro Redux for the... Yeah, no.
Oh, hi, Steve Bloom.
Yeah, no,
Hi,
no. I'm not doing that. Yeah, so it's the Metro Redux bundle, both 2033 Redux and Metro Less Light Redux are now 50% off, so you can grab those for $20-ish, a bit less than that. It's from 4A Games. If you don't know what the hell it is, come on. How long have you been on Linux? Because it was the first non-Valve AAA Linux title. So yeah, there's a
couple of things. I mean,
you know what? Keen-eyed shoppers earlier this week would have noticed that you could have actually picked up both games for under $20.
Yeah,
which is less than the original pre-order. Wouldn't have been
Yes.
And let's not forget this fun business. If you travel all the way back in time, the Wayne's World thing, it launched with Penguin icon. I'm like, yes, that's awesome.
The pre-order.
Then everyone pre-ordered, including myself. Then it launched, and the penguin was gone. And I said, we clearly stated this at the very last sentence of our blog that we posted a long time ago and didn't link to on the Steam page.
Yep.
Then it reappeared, and like 9 hours later, it was finally available for download. Still a bit roughed about that. But we're going to be talking a lot more about that business in the chair section because they have some words to say about it. But coming up next, Total War.
Je suis Napoleon. This is
Je suis
yeah. So this is the first entry in the Empire series that has actually made it on Linux. Our pals at Feral Interactive ported this over.
Oh yeah.
But if you're hoping that now you can play some 7 Years War era real-time strategy with your friends on Windows and Mac, you cannot, because multiplayer only works for systems on the same platform.
In all fairness, the original Mac port only worked with other Macs.
Well, fuck Macs. What is this, Linux?
Yeah.
Linux. I'm sorry. That I thought that was called the Linux Action Ship.
For all the Macs out there, LGC cares. Okay. Big show tonight. Big show.
been a wonderful audience. You're a terrific audience.
Check this business out. You can buy the basic pack. It was on sale early. Now it's 19.99 wet sticky caches. We got this whole thing. Feral gave us the business. We got the 164.99, but I shit you not, our PR contact, we have a press section. We can log into Feral. Awesome. We love the guys. But his name's Brad.
Yeah, you have some problems with that, don't you?
It hurts me talking to Brad and not saying anything completely unconstructive. Brad. But I picked up some keys for everyone because I contacted him. I said, our review things are not showing up. And he wrote back, he's like, yeah, they're probably not going to be available for several days. I'm like, fair enough. It was like $9.99 wet stinkies at the time. Picked that business up. The next day, I was like, oh, they're ready. I was like, fuck. All right,
fucking Brad, man.
Check out the time on Brad, but that's Empire Total War. We'll probably look at that next week. It was from 2009. I heard you had some movement issues with it.
Yeah, no, I just don't like the controls on it. It's a real-time strategy game that doesn't really give you an overhead view, which I guess from playing StarCraft.
It looks kind of
years ago. It's not something I'm used to. But apparently it has 4K support.
It does. It runs with the 4K. And it's completely playable even on the 770 and much more so on the 980.
So, but, there's a certain ornithological discovery you may not have heard of.
Yes, apparently on Counter-Strike Go, not too long ago, you could run up to some pigeons and ride the hitbox all the way up to heaven. So you could basically circle around the map and shoot everyone from the sky without them noticing. So, you can't do that anymore. Valve has finally released a patch which they begrudgingly admit that they fixed the pigeon riding exploit.
They even left a little sign that says
Russia on the bird, not threat.
But they did have a couple. If you go to the Valve specific release, the blog for Counter-Strike Go, they do say that they fixed some Linux and Mac specific issues. Namely, the game was using a bit too much RAM that they were comfortable with. I personally never noticed it. Even on the calculator,
with my 32 gigabytes of RAM in my system.
Yeah, I only have 8, and I didn't really notice it using too much RAM. It's just, okay, it's using 3 or 4 gigs.
Close enough attention.
I'm on a 64-bit OS. You should be using that much RAM if you need it. Why not? So yeah, they fixed that. It's Counter-Strike Go. It's pretty fun. I suggest you give it a try.
Well, that was Pedro telling you about the bird.
Kitty, God. All I'm going to say, this is Talos principle. If you get to kill the cat at the end, I will actually pay the exorbitant $35.99 for this. What appears to be
that's what's on sale. Jeez,
on sale. Normally $39.99. This is the Talos principle from our fine folks that brought us serious sound. The Brown Encounter.
Protein.
It's a first-person puzzle game in which basically it's kind of like Portal laser thingy on a budget. There's already DLC. That's wow. Okay, everyone
it's
seems
a hybrid between Myst and Portal.
To love this. All I got to say is, you remember, when it was about 2 weeks ago, they released the free playtest, and on an octa-core box, even run the 770s at the time, it ran like ass. J-Man, did you get any thoughts?
Yeah, no, on the hex core on the 670 superclocked, it wasn't running too good. So I'd imagine that even on the octa-core with the 770s, it would run a bit like shit. But hopefully they will have fixed it. Hopefully they're paying attention to our little podcast. If not, we gotta get on the horn and yell at them a bit.
Well, P-Man, there's something you want to think. How many? It almost took a full year before Serious Sam was really nice and playable.
Yeah, but on the 970, the Talos
was right at the beginning.
Kind of worked.
The whole Steam Linux thing, though. But one would hope that they would have gotten all that sorted out, considering it's all on the Serious Engine 3.
Well,
but for $40, I'll probably wait until the winter sale to see if it drops any more than that, because it probably will.
It'll probably go to $9.99, then we'll pick it up. So.
Well, probably not on the winter sale, because it just got released, so yeah. But yeah, on the 970, it kind of worked, but not too long ago, I sent
what do you mean, kind of?
It worked. I didn't really have any slowdowns unless I turned SSAO all the way up. But it worked, yeah. But moving ahead, not too long ago, I sent Iculus a tweet asking, say, Sanctum for Linux, has that been fixed? And he's like, yeah? Question mark? So I got home, I downloaded the game, I play it. Oh my god, this runs like ass. I sent him another tweet back, yeah, this is still not very good. And he didn't reply. Guess now we know why. Because Coffee Stain Studios, you may remember him from the guys behind Goat Simulator. Yes.
I guess they have all this free time after releasing an entire full fucking game for Goat Simulator.
Yep. So I guess they finally made enough money out of the Goat MMO simulator that they managed to fix their first-person tower defense type deal game that they've got selling on Steam. And it's good. It's good that they're finally getting around to it. It's just, it's taken a lot of time.
I kind of left this game for dead, to be perfectly honest with you, but
yeah.
Not to throw a wrench in your theory there. I was talking to G-Money last week, and I was like, how about throwing me some 4K support and some shit? I want to test this monitor out. And lo and behold, this patch introduced 4K support. So I wouldn't say it's maybe 100%
Just fuck already! God damn it!
Brilliant! It is completely playable now. It does have a little bit of slowdown, but it's tower defense. It tries to be humorous, and some things are like, I see your attempt at humor. Right. But you can probably pick it up for hella cheap. Up next.
Yeah, they only have a couple of Linux-specific fixes, so... Yeah.
Naked. How probably. Reclaim his memories in this 2D dungeon platformer. Search shadow dungeons for the exit and unlock them. Basically, seriously, this is like updated without the gravity mechanic. But I do want to say thanks to Cheatin. He sent me early access for this seriously like 4 or 5 months ago. I played it on and off, and I was like, but the controllers work. But what does this clock in at, Vin, you might ask? $224, so it is priced to sell regularly. $299.
But you know, there's no naked Ven, and that makes it a one-chair game.
Yes, unfortunately. But then again, I never really liked. So
I liked it, but I like those kinds of platformers. Like I want to be the guy and whatnot. I suck at them, but I like them.
Yeah, somebody who actually was playing with the Commodore 64 shit in the days. And it's like, I don't need this again. I'm good.
So. Wait, no, hold on. I gotta go make a sandwich. My game's loading off my cassette tape.
Good times, Lon.
Commodore. But up next, we got ourselves some Galcon 2.
What the hell is this supposed to be about?
Yeah, they say in the
explosions, loud noises,
things.
Yeah, the screenshots are not very descriptive, and the blurb they say it's a demolition derby in space, which is a lie. Send swarms of ships from planet to planet to conquer the galaxy in a fast-paced multiplayer strategy game. And I'm like,
did someone have a seizure at the editing table? Someone using After Effects and then just died? What the fuck was that?
So I read the blurb and I'm like, yeah, this doesn't really tell me anything, and I can't really see anything from either the trailer or the screenshots. So I went to look at the Steam reviews, and I found a review by Mr. Kudo Yosuke. It's like a 2-line review, and he says, Zerg Rush Simulator 2014. Best description I could have hoped for. That's exactly what it is.
After watching that trailer, I'm half expecting some half-naked women to come up and say, Iva Netniaj. That trailer was very disjointed. I don't know what the hell is going on.
Well, considering the price, it's free to play, so pick it up if you want, comrade.
Yeah, it's definitely priced to sell. Free to play.
Mecha Ace.
Oh man. So you ever thought yourself after playing Depression Quest, you know what this engine would work really great on? Mecha combat games. Well, someone did. Probably on quite a lot of drugs, but not cocaine. Cocaine can't result in this. It's scientifically impossible. This is Mecha Ace. This is The description is completely misleading. Step inside the cockpit of a giant robot in an interstellar civil war. Customize your mecha to duel with enemy pilots and monosaver plasma swords. Find glory, disgrace, and even love. But it's actually just an interactive novel. And it's $4.50, which is not bad, but
yeah,
goddamn.
but I think the best review I saw on this business was White Screens of Adventure 1010. Would white screen again?
No, but that's the whole thing. Who even buys text adventures nowadays? Okay, I get it. Back in 1989, 88, sure,
I think
computers were not that powerful. MS-DOS games, yeah, text adventures. It wasn't the top of the line or anything.
What we need is a shot realm text-based game.
It was a way. It was a way to convey a lot of things in just a simple format. It worked.
There are still MUDs you can telnet into that are still running today that you don't have to pay for. Oh, good old telnet. And with that, we're gonna end this news segment and cut our connection on port 23 to the horse. Coming up next, everyone's updating their drivers, and people are still playing catch up with RHEL. My God, Pedro, you're a hentai.
What the hell happened?
Keep this in. Keep rolling.
That's just not nice. Yeah. Hi. Welcome to the news. Pixely.
Is that a tentacle behind you?
Yeah. NVIDIA released new drivers, I suppose. Yeah, there we go. It's getting better. All right. So, yeah, new Linux beta for the NVIDIA drivers. They've added support for Xorg 117 and the ABI 19. They've improved compatibility with the recent Linux kernels. They fixed a couple of bugs, including 4K panels, so Ven can have proper 4K going on. And they fixed a couple of regressions.
Like laptop.
Yeah, it's mostly for laptop panels. They fixed a couple of regressions. The kernel module was not getting loaded properly in some virtual environments, and the displays were being set incorrectly.
All in all, this isn't really a gaming update. This is just a bunch of fixes.
Well, there's one thing with this gaming update that we need to make point of. This is the beta driver. If you cut your Metro Reduxes and your last lights up to YOLO Swag Dorito, it flips the hell out. So you might want to back that down if you want to play.
Well, what do you call it? I'm on the previous beta driver, and I was still running into that Metro issue. So
yeah, but if you use the latest current driver, not an issue.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is a thing. So since we started the new segment with some driver issues, let's keep going. Jordan.
Oh, yes. Okay. So, remember how we're constantly complaining that AMD only supports an ancient version of Xorg and doesn't support recent kernels? Well, they tried. They really did. This is the Omega Catalyst drivers. I don't know why the hell they're calling it Omega, perhaps because it is the last release we will ever see on Linux. Probably not.
Probably, yeah.
But, it supports Xorg ABI 1.17, which is, or rather 1.16, because that's what's shipping with RHEL. They've added support for 3.17 kernels, because that's what's shipping with RHEL, and 3.18 just came out. It doesn't look like it actually, much like the NVIDIA patch, it doesn't look like it actually really gives you much in terms of gaming. According to the PC Per guys you were saying, Pedro, it improves some performance on Windows-based APUs. But really, reading through these patch notes, all I read is, holy shit, RHEL 7 is out, we're not compatible, fuck. People need to use CL compute. And so, they've added more recent support. So you might be able to get this working on Fedora. Pedro, you were having some bad experiences with that on your netbook.
Yes, yeah. My netbook has a C30 APU, and I am running Crunchbang SID on it. I tried to hammer them in there, wouldn't compile. Looked around Google for a little bit, see if there were any patches. None to be found. It's running the 317 kernel and the 116 Xorg, so it should have worked. So I guess either they're lying or the driver is just completely busted as usual.
I thought one of the fun
I've
things
yet to try that out on the Steam box.
I
But
saw
Ben, you're saying?
is now they have VAPI decoding support.
Ooh.
It's a new feature. I think
VAPI.
it's kind of like VDPAU, right?
Yeah, VDPAU has been on Linux since 2006, courtesy of NVIDIA.
Here's a get me off
Mesa-
my lawn story. I remember, I'll tell you how long ago when I first read about VDPAU, it was on Slashdot, and it was new news. Get off my lawn. And it was hacked into InPlay, and at that time I had a single core AMD, maybe 2.1 gigahertz, couldn't play 720p in those days, HD video on it at all. I mean, it was miserable. Finally got that installed, and I sat there in amazeballs, like watching no CPU usage. It was like 1%. It was brilliant. You were saying, P-Man?
Yep. Yeah, NVIDIA implemented VDPAU back in 2006, and Mesa supports it officially, actually supports it, since July 1st this year, which is when the 0.8 version of VDPAU came out. Who's the stable version, as they call it.
So what you're saying is the open source drivers are actually starting to become more feature complete than the proprietary Catalyst drivers.
They've been like that for at least a year now. Just saying.
Good stuff.
Somebody's getting a golden ticket.
Well, we're still waiting on Godot. This is the Godot Christmas Game Jam,
Godot?
where they basically want you to go and put out a holiday themed game using Godot. You actually don't even have to submit binaries; you just have to submit source code.
It's got to be open source.
What is Godot? If you've never really heard of it, we've talked about it a couple times. It is a Linux native game engine / editor, much in the vein of your Leadworks or your Unity. Yeah, and it's a cool little engine. It can actually do some pretty neat stuff, and the games that can pump out are actually kind of pretty. But no one's using it!
Nope, they're having a bit of a contest, and here's the entries. There.
Millions of adoring fans.
The entry is the offer to get into it. I mean, it's almost as bad as LinuxGameCast Weekly when it comes to people paying attention.
Marginally.
Yep.
Marginally. These guys haven't really integrated into the cocaine Voltron, so they're not quite there yet.
Yes.
Give that a look.
If you want to toy around with the neat little engine, there's the Game Jam for you.
Absolutely.
We'll keep plugging it. We're just waiting for someone to actually make a decent game with it.
So
that and Leadworks.
This thing is still a thing. This has been the multimedia online space pew pew since Linux. This thing was even able to build
subscription based though.
Yeah. You still got to pay some monies for it. I tried way back when to give him a few quid, and I played it for a minute, and I was like, not my thing. But that's not what we're talking about, other than, that's right, Vendetta Online 18315, this introduced... Vendetta. What you did there, it's boring. It's a prototype OpenGL driver, it's 4.Z, and it's going to enable dynamic light organs, including weapon fire, rocket missiles, ship exhaust, giggity, and explosions. So, a bunch of other things, but as P-Man was pointing out, you'd have to throw them a few wet stinkies in order to get some of that. And, it's not a bad-looking game if I can find screenshots, manual media. Let's see if it's cleverly disguised.
Screen shows.
Yay, screen shows.
It looks a bit 2006-y, but...
Yeah,
just a little bit.
But you can genuinely... It's completely open source, aside from the subscription, so you can run this on a cat or a dead battery.
I think they do that to cover server costs, but yeah. Yeah.
That's not
so anyone else have anything to say about Vendetta Online? Cut on over.
Not my cup of tea.
Now, did you want to do your White Stripes fell in love with a girl impression again with your video?
I don't know how that happened.
Games now. So, what is it? Metro 2033 Redux is the definitive version of the cult classic Metro 2033, rebuilt with the latest and greatest iteration of the 4K engine for next-gen fans of the original game. We'll find the unique world of Metro transformed with incredible lighting, physics, dynamic weather effects. Newcomers will get the chance to experience one of the finest story-driven shooters of all time. an epic adventure combining gripping survival horror, exploration, tactical combat, and stealth.
Woohoo!
And this isn't our good friend Artyom's first stance in front of the chairs, but it certainly won't be his last. So cue the Chairquisition. 1 chair means that it's garbage. 2 chairs means that it's 3 chairs means that it's pretty good, and 4 chairs means that it is a glorious Soviet People's Republic of awesome. And of course, we have our categories of Doom, Makes the Working, Shiny Sounds, Controls, and Fun. So let's kick off this review. Ben, did it make with the working?
Well, comrade, as you might say, makes with the working. Almost 20 seconds of unskippable
good
bullshit.
Good timing with the...
Cannot say very happy with this. Developers, how they say, even created workaround with benchmark.sh to skip noise. Twice, I have been off script and had to go back to figure out whatever triggery fuck all whatnots in order to continue game, comrades. Very, very much, how you say, distracting. The loading is extremely long, extremely laggy, not liking that. Very much bad sync, but a glorious 4K monitor, getting between 45 and 46, how you say, frames per second. So, I must give what's deserved the 3 chairs.
Solid Stone, I thought you were dead. Or at least locked in the Korean prison camps for another 5-10 years. Anyways, upon launching this game, I'm presented with a wonderful little option, or a choice of playing Metro 2033 Redux or launching the game. To which I said, yes. but as it turns out, if you select launch, it will give you a missing executable, probably because this is just some option for the Windows game. No idea. Speaking of Ven's issue with the loading screens, I found that if you flip Steam Overlay on, the loading screens actually like display text at a regular rate, which makes 0 sense to me.
Compositing.
But, despite the fact that you don't have any custom resolution settings, at least we don't have a revisit of the quality slider. Other than that, it worked pretty well. Not quite 4 chairs just because of all the issues. Especially if you crank everything up to 11. But 3 chairs. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's the first true OpenGL 4 game on Linux. I'm almost willing to excuse the poor optimization and the constant frame dips. The whole loading screen thing, I genuinely thought that the jerky-ass loading screens were because I'm running the game from a Western Digital black hard drive instead of an SSD. It's good to know that it's not. Yeah, but yeah, on the Amiga, it still had a lot of issues, so I'm going to have to give it 3 chairs.
All right, so that's 3 chairs from Mix with the Working. Up next is Shiny and Sounds. Ben, or rather, Solid Stone, how does it look in glorious communist 4K?
Who is this Vin you speak of? In glorious 4K is very neat. Is hella gorgeous, like you say, with 4K goodness. Those pulsarial underruns, I hear many people have issue. Not so much, only in loading screen, minimal effort, not much bother. No issues, very much sound work like original Metro last night. Moves around directional, also much immersion. Is good, comrades. So, let's give 4 chairs. Much deserved.
Well, Pedro will tell you a bit more about cranking the graphics setting up to 11. I will just say that it reminded me of going through a Stargate. And I'll leave it at that. Damn, I got hit with those pulse audio underruns like a motherfucker. Dear Lord, I could barely make out what anyone was saying. Sounded like cable from the early 90s. Or you remember when you were like going into the naughty channels and you could just barely make out what they were saying? That was my flashback. I mentioned that on the loading screen text renders faster when the the Steam overlays up. And as for sounds, yeah, there. If I could hear anything over the underruns, I imagine it would sound very atmospheric and creepy. At least visually, it's still very, very good looking. Even not cranked up to 11, I think I had it on high and the 2x anti-aliasing because fuck 16 times. I actually want to play the game. And as for voice talent, oh hi Steve Bloom, and hi Steve Bloom. Oh look, it's Steve Bloom. Hi again. 3 chairs.
Yeah, pushing the graphics all the way up causes very bad smearing. We're talking, remember back in the days of Windows 95, 98, where you would drag a window and they would smear all over the screen? That's exactly what happens with this game.
That was my favorite feature of Windows 95.
Yeah, but it's 2014 now. This should not be happening. I didn't notice any underruns, even on the loading screens when everything slowed down. The sound was still okay, so can't really say I ran into those. And in general, sounds were very much on par with the previous, Metro Last Light, the original one. It's still the same 3 or 4 Russian accent voice actors and 2 or 3 others with Russian accents even worse than mine. So for me, I'm going to have to give it 3 chairs.
All right, well, that's 3 chairs for Shiny and Sounds. Up next is Control. Ven's not here, man.
Ven's not
it's
here.
Solid Stone. It's Solid. It's his less attractive cousin from Russia, Solid Stone. Where did you feel like you were in Control?
We also love Juice. In Control, comrades.
Yeah, Juice is mighty tasty, yes.
Mouse organ. Keyboard organ work very much like expected. Not what issue, but very much, very, very much. Like Metro Last Light, layout, default, completely stupid. Did not like this so much. But all in all, shoots, mouse moves, and you get to kill Nazis. But let's give it 3 chairs.
Yeah, there wasn't really much in the way of changing from Metro Last Light in terms of controls. So there's not really much to say about that. Everything works. The one thing that bothers me is I get that it's supposed to sort of simulate how heavy the guns are, but it's kind of weird going from twitch shooters to having to sort of gradually move your crosshair and back and forth across the screen. Not a really big issue. It could help with the immersion. I'm just used to something completely different. So I'm going to give that 3 chairs for Control.
Yeah, for me, like Jordan said, it doesn't really differ all that much from Metro Last Light, and that's a problem, because Metro Last Light would not let me bind the extra keys on the mouse, nor the page up and page down on the keyboard. So it leads me to this question. Why? Are we honestly still stuck in 2013 where this whole Linux gaming thing was still very much new? Fix this shit. 3 chairs.
All right, so 3 chairs for Control, and finally fun. Solid Stone, I finally got that right. Mr. Stone, did you have fun?
Thank you, Comrade Swang. It's really the game settings. It's able to put in the more traditional first-person shooter mode versus scrunch about resources and get dented lots. Very nice. These Metro Last Light did good job of soaking you into story organ, and this does exactly that. First of the game, jumping from cutscene to the next. If Filthy Heretic had previously played 2033 on Filthy American Scum OS, it's maybe worth revisit, but definitely purchase for pure Linux gamer like myself, Solid Stone. Must say 4 chairs. 9. 3 chairs.
All right, All right, good. I thought you're changing shit on me, man. That's not cool, man. So
It's hard to do it with an eye patch, man.
Oh God, what's happening? My reality is completely shattered. So one thing that kind of bugged me about this game is that if you played Last Light or Metro 2033 before, you don't get any bonuses. You don't get your save imported or anything like that. I would think for what is essentially a re-release of the game, that you should have at least some facility to import your old saves and whatnot. Hell, even with Borderlands Aspire, if it detected that you own the game on Steam, it gave you at least a little something. But I digress. Another thing that bothers me is you still find copies of Metro 2033 and Metro 2034 lying about in the middle of the game, in your room, no less, and in other people's rooms. So what I don't understand is why can you not just pick up the book and find out exactly what happens? That ruined my immersion, my weird meta convoluted immersion. But beyond that, I have a little pet peeve when it comes to in-game events that basically force you to lose so that you have a cutscene, because they don't really tell you when that's going to happen. So I don't know what is a cinematic and what isn't. Something that happened very early on in the game is after you get into the tunnels for the first time and you go to that area where all the corpses are.
Oh,
and the dude's trying to open up the door. And then it keeps switching on you. And I thought it was a cinematic. And I died like 4 times until I figured out, wait, I can actually move in this? What? That would be nice if you told me that. And then it took me another 2 tries to figure out what I actually needed to do. Because it's like, okay, I made it through the door. I died? What the fuck? No, I need to go all the way through the door, hold down W, and then let the dark one grab me through, because that makes logical sense. Yes. Okay. But beyond that, I mean, it's the same sort of Metro game. I enjoyed Last Light. This was very much a similar experience because it's the same engine, essentially. Just a different story. So beyond that, again, go back and watch the original Metro review if you want a more detailed look into my feelings toward the game. The voice acting can be a bit iffy at times. It certainly looks beautiful, and it gives you enough that you want to keep going and find out what happens next. So I'm going to give that 3 cheers.
Yeah, like both of you guys just mentioned, it's got, like I said with the original Metro Last Light review, it's got that Half-Life 2 progression going for it. As soon as you start playing, it's very hard to stop, because as soon as the story picks up, it's okay, what happens next? No, enemies, gotta kill them. Okay, more story. Sweet. Yeah, I really don't hate this game. I do hate the frame time irregularities because it's all over the fucking map, the herky-jerky loading screens, and the fact that I can't properly bind my keyboard/mouse for my admittedly very specific use case. But the game itself, I don't hate it. It's still a Metro game. It's still very good. I never actually played it on Windows, so I'm actually experiencing 2033 in its entirety for the first time here. And I don't hate it. 3 cheers.
All right, so that's 3 cheers for Glorious People's Democratic Republic of Metro. And yeah, that's also the final score because we gave it 3 cheers all across the board.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, final thoughts.
Later. All right. Brilliant for stopping by, Cousin Stone. Here's one thing I'm sure a lot of people that are genuinely thinking about. They're like, oh, Vin, you have a 980. Oh, Vin, you have a 4K monitor. Can I play it? Yes, you can. Very, very nicely, usually between 45 and 52, 56 FERPs per second. And if you're wondering, there's another thing we ran into. If you're playing it at 1080p, it doesn't matter if you have a 980 or a 970. You're doing somewhere in the 70 FERPs. That's what you're dealing with. I tested this on the Octo-Cool, 980. Gotta say 980 now. Getting used to that business. But with the fun and everything put together, I think it's a very solid thing. Also, this does not feel like a very polished build. There's
Not at
things
all.
that are missing, like being able to select your resolution in the mothering game. That's a
Or
bit
being able
annoying.
to play on the highest settings.
Windowed
Yeah.
mode. That's a moon option. Can't have that. Might confuse people, I don't know. And another thing. I saw the advanced physics. I was like, brilliant. Because I know
Physics,
that
woo!
NVIDIA released an SDK for the PhysX engine built into all of our fucking mothering cards. And it's like, that'll use it. And I clicked that, and performance got worse. And I was like, guess they didn't get that memo. But all in all, kind of like hearkening to what P-Man was saying, much like Half-Life 2, this is a narrated story that kind of drags you by your testicle organs through it. So I'm taking my time. I don't know exactly how long this is. I've never played 2033 because I'm not a filthy Windows dual booter. And I kind of want to experience. Got about 2.5 ons in right now, and I'm looking forward to the conclusion, especially in the 4K glory that is me. J-Man?
Yeah, no. One thing I didn't mention in the fun section is this game, the Metro series, I find has actually really good pacing, because it's you're essentially going from cutscene to cutscene, but you get enough gameplay in that it doesn't seem like you're sort of getting dragged along. The corridors are fairly linear, and you basically just have to keep going in a straight line. Not that difficult to get lost, at least from what I've played. Yeah. If you have Metro 2033 on you and you primarily use Windows because you're a filthy dual booting heathen, don't buy this. If you are on Linux, buy this.
Yeah, definitely. And I have to disagree with you a little bit, Jordan, because what was it the very first thing you said? What was your wording exactly?
For what?
The final
pacing?
words here. Yeah, the pacing. The pacing is great as soon as the game gets going. For the very this happened in Metro Last Light too. The starting scenes, like the tutorial,
like,
sort of, you're getting shoved down a pipe. It's cutscene after cutscene after cutscene. You get to shoot a couple of things in between the cutscenes, but it's
and then you
basically
die.
just cutscenes. Yeah, and then you die or you lose. And it's a pain in the ass. But after that, after the start of the game itself, it's fine. It's very much like Half-Life 2. It's just, okay, keep going, keep shooting, you want to see what's going to happen next. And it's great that we finally have the complete Metro series thus far available on Linux. I just wish that they fix those, controls and the optimization quirks and the frame times being all over the place. We really need to fix that.
For sure. So that's it for Glorious Republic of Metro 2033. Coming up next, we find out where the X-Clone controller actually comes from. We find out what the fuck is wrong with Ben's voice.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am disappointed. Every week, I come here and I try and fail miserably at saying something funny for you guys and gals to send us some hate mail.
And you fail again this week.
But we never get it. So, once again, if you'd like to say disparaging remarks about our mothers, go on over to LinuxGameCast.com, push the contact button on the navbar, fill out the little form, prove you're smarter than whatever bot Ven's running this week, and we will feature your message. Now, do remember to use a valid email account. Ven will explain why later. But of course, if you're trying to promote your crowdfunding campaign, include a demo, prototype, whatever you want to call it, with your message, because if you don't, we will make fun of you. Sound good? All right then. So, Ven, there has been some questioning as to where the X-Clone came from.
The X-Clone. This comes from FX Boy Forever Yellow Swag #Dorito. He asks, can you tell me which particular X-Clone controller you use and test? Had an odd one with a third-party controller recently. Brandon model were, all caps, in the Xbox Rev supported list, but said, different. Check this business out. I tracked it down because Zon's purchases, and there it is. But the guy, I just realized
Not
that.
a very good picture.
There we go. Now we know who's selling it.
Doesn't really have all that great reviews, actually.
No, apparently it's a... Well, see, here's the thing. When I bought it, it was $39.99. Because you got to understand, I will go way out of my way and pay premium not to give Microsoft a fuck mothering dime. That's all it is.
Which is why you buy all those Android devices.
Brilliant. So, yeah, most helpful. I mean, it's plasticky, it's cheap, but it works. And all these people that apparently bought it didn't realize it wasn't an official Xbox controller. And I don't know what gave that away. I mean...
Maybe because it comes all blurry.
Yeah. It's really hard to pick it up.
Here's a pro tip. LGC cares, ladies and gentlemen. If you're about to buy, you're at the store and you look it down and the Xbox controller is blurry, it's probably not real. Okay?
Probably not real.
Just saying.
Actually,
Perhaps.
completely unrelated. Is the Everything Unholy link on the contact page still pointing at Spice World's IMDb page?
What? Oh, yes, of course it is.
Okay, good. I was curious if you had changed that on me. All right, up next, from a fake email coward.
Now, I guess I got to say a little bit before we get into this.
Right.
Only found this because I was cleaning out the spam folders. Here's a bit of a trick that maybe we need to make clear. When you send the hate mail or any other mail, it does a verification check to see if it bounces back. If it bounces back, it goes to spam. Then you get called fake email coward. Audio question,
Yes.
You were saying, J-Man.
And he says, I duly apologize if these audio-related questions have already been answered, but I really need to know for a school project. Right, school. Then, what's up with your voice? What country are you supposed to be from? After you answer, assume everyone said you got the accent wrong. Quang! I doubt this is really your real name, since the DMV wouldn't let me put it on my license plate. But what is up with your voice? It's hard to talk with Seth Rogen stuck in your throat. Pedro, what is up with your voice? At first, I assumed you were just drunk. Then I started to wonder if maybe you learned to speak English from a drunk guy. So, Ven, you go first.
Well, man, I'm going to tell you about what's this. Actually, I'm from Vinland. There's only 5 of us, and I assure you, we all speak just like in the world.
Even his mom, it's kind of hot.
I mean,
Yeah.
and trust me, being from Vinland, the accent is perfectly cromulent, you cheeky dick waffle. Also, not a native English speaker. Didn't see that one coming, did you? And this is really going to twist you sideways. Our dear, dear friend. My day job is a voice actor. Burn! Apply cream! Die in a fire!
But yeah, no, Svung is actually my real name. It's totally my real name.
It is.
As for your second question, I don't know. What's the fuck is up with your voice? Is it hard to talk with your dad crammed down your throat?
Actually, Jordan, when I went to the post office to pick up the mic, the lady had some trouble reading your name off the thing, so I had to spell it out for her. And even though I spelled it out, she still wrote down Jordan Wang.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Massive wang.
That's my porn alter ego, by the way.
Yeah, so I was looking at it and I'm like, you know what? I just paid 61 euros. I'm not even going to correct you right now. It's just going to go like that. But yeah,
Whatever.
back to this
Some
guy.
wang gave me this.
Yeah, back to this guy. He pretty much hit the nail on the head with me. You see, when it comes to LGC, I'm already pretty sauced up. And all things considered, I don't really get that much practice when it comes to the Englishes. It's just the show. So, yeah, deal with it.
So, to answer your question, yes, he did learn English from a drunk person. That drunk person is Ben.
And on that bombshell, let's drop the drunken music and cue up. Because you can always find us every night. That rhymes with Saturday. At 9:30 Eastern Moon Time. You can find me cleverly disguised on the Twitter nets. I'm at Vinstone plus Vinstone on the G+s. J-Man.
I'm Jordan Spung, or Jordan Wang if you're in Portugal. You can find me at The Burning Fool on Twitter, plus Jordan Spung on Google+.
And I am Pedro Mateos, or as Ven and Jordan say it, Pedro Mateus. You can find me at Unaccounted For on Twitter, or plus Pedro Mateos on Google+.
And remember, kids, Mateus Pedro is best Mateus. Isn't that right?
Is best Pablo Matthews.
Sell some oranges. Sell the oranges.
Si, senor. I'm on it.
And you're deported.
How many cases you want? 2?
Now, then go
3?
trim my hedges. And make me some barbacoa because you're Mexican.
No, we say barbecue as well.